Well, hello there. Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about, do you ever feel super exhausted with your kids saying mom, 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 mom all day long? So we're going to talk about that. And before I do, I wanted to take you back to childhood because I'm pretty sure you can relate with me on this. But when I was a kid, I knew by the time I was 5 or 6 years old that I was just trouble. You know, I was somebody that made my mother mad. And here's an example. One time I was about 4 or 5 years old, maybe even 3, and I was going to go out and play in the fresh snow. You know, when you live in Ontario and the snowflakes are super huge and the snow's falling when you're 3 years old, it's like, wow, I don't ever remember seeing anything like this before. And so my mom was getting me ready to go outside, and here I am. I'm in this little fantasy land of, oh my gosh, I want to explore and I want to do this and I want to go outside and play and have fun. But my mom almost seemed annoyed already, and she was like, do not eat the snow. Dogs pee in the snow. Do not eat the snow. And I heard, do not eat dog pee snow. Because even at the age of 3 or 4, do you think that I could know what snow had been peed on and what snow had not? Anyway, that wasn't the point. She said, do not eat the snow. And so I'm outside and I'm like putting my tongue underneath the snowflakes. And of course, I'm putting my face in the snow and I'm eating the snow. And she said, do not eat the snow. And I'm eating the snow. And so she comes out and she grabs me. You know, she was all mad and basically yelling at me, you know, telling me how much trouble I was for her. And she keeled over in just a massive amount of pain. And apparently, you know, she was pregnant with my brother, and me being defiant was almost the cause of her miscarriage that day. And so just lots of experiences like that. I had made a decision that when I became a parent, my kids were going to know how loved they were and how special they were, and that they weren't trouble, right? They were going to be different. I was going to be different. I was going to be different than my mom and the best mom in the world. But what I found after I became a mom and I started having kids was that I was just a huge failure as a mother, right? They would be squabbling with each other and fighting with each other, and mom this and mom that, mom I'm hungry, mom I'm thirsty, mom Jacob hit me, and all this stuff was going on. And so I felt like just a huge failure as a mother. Nothing that the experts were telling me to do was actually working to get my kids just to cooperate with me and work as a team. And so even though I had made the decision to be different than my mom, and that I had made the decision that I was going to be more loving and more kind, the habits that I had developed through my childhood into my adulthood left me with no other choice other than to be the same mom that my mom was, right? Timeouts weren't working. Takeaways weren't working. They would just become more angry. And so at the end of the day, when I would find that no articles, no books, no super nanny was working to help me, I reverted back to yelling at my kids and just being stressed out and exhausted to the point where I would lock myself in the bathroom and cry. Like I had literally given up as a mom in total defeat because there was just nothing that I could do to get them to work with me. In 2011, I met a gentleman that would change my life forever, although I didn't know that at the time. But I had invited him to Canada to do some workshops with me, and thinking that I was the greatest mom in the world, right? Totally in show-off mode. Mom, I need this. Okay, honey, I'll be right there. Mom, I need that. Okay, honey, I'll be right there. And I had no idea that he had any experience with kids, let alone 15 years in an after-school program. But one day, Zachary was lounging all over the couch watching TV, and it was, Mom, I'm thirsty. And I go running to his rescue to get him something to drink, and there's Tom standing in the kitchen with him, and he's like, Bonnie, can you go get me whatever from my office? He sent me on a wild goose chase. And I'm like, yeah, but if I don't get him his juice right away, he's going to have a massive meltdown and we're going to have a screaming fit for hours. You know how it is, especially if you have a child with any kind of disruptive behavior disorders, which Zachary did have at the time. Anyway, I went on this wild goose chase and I came back and there was Tom standing there with Zach, and Zachary had a glass of juice in his hands. And Thomas goes, hey, do you know who made the juice? Or guess who made the juice? And I knew right away that Zachary had made his own juice. And I'm like sitting there, and I can just still feel the feeling of it today. I'm sitting there with my jaw kind of wide open going, I've really never taught him how to make his own juice. I never really taught him how to get a drink on his own. And it was just a huge epiphany for me. It was like, I need to teach them. And then after a few more instances like that with Thomas, and just seeing like immediate cooperation and the eyes light up in my kids, like, look what I can do, mommy, all by myself, I knew that I wanted to learn every single thing that Tom knew that he worked with in his after-school program, and I began to put a plan in place. The problem was with that is that I had already almost 40 years of conditioning where I thought it was my job to control my kids' every move and to basically be their servant, right? So it was just a habit that I had. Mom, I come to the rescue. Mom, I come to the rescue. And so it took a long time to change habits, and the only thing that I had at the time was the ability to phone Thomas. Hey, my kids are doing this. What do I say? My kids are doing that. What do I say? And he would give me the answer. But after about 6 months, I watched all 4 of my children, who were ages 6 through 12, come to life. I saw them be happier. I saw them take pride. I saw them begin to work with me as a team. I saw them to begin to cooperate. And guys, moms, I've been where you are. I've been that exhausted, stressed out mom, lying in the bathroom in fetal position, not knowing what to do, praying to God for the answer. And then I've been on the other side. And this was about, oh my gosh, probably about 7.5 years ago now, that I started to see that there was a better way to raise kids, a more empowering way to raise kids, a way that would make my dream of letting them know that they are the creators of their own life. They are special. They have brilliance in some area or another. And the last thing that I wanted to do was be somebody in their life that would squash their desires or squash their spirit or break their spirit. Now, the other day I was watching a show, and this gentleman had to basically break some bad news to somebody, and he goes, well, I don't want to break their spirit. And then his girlfriend said, well, if you just let him win or think he won in this moment, I think that would be breaking their spirit. And so we want to be a servant to our kids. We want them to be happy. We want them to know that we love them. And so we serve them. But at the same time, we are unknowingly breaking their spirit in that moment, because they're left thinking that the only way they can get juice is if you come and run to their rescue and bring it to them, which is a very terrible way to live. We've got to teach our kids life skills, and we're the only ones that are going to love our kids enough to actually take the time to teach them. Since then, I've done about 7.5 years of research about, how did parenting get to be where we are servants to our kids, and the kids are growing up entitled and disrespectful and uncooperative. How did we get there? And I've put it all together. There's actually puzzle pieces that when you look at it, when you become aware of it and you can actually see the crystal clear pathway to disempowered children and the separation of families. Of course, you can find all of our information, or you can get your free resources from learntospeakkid.com. And the next thing that I want to talk about tomorrow is, okay, we need to teach them life skills, but how do we motivate them? Thanks for joining. Hey, Lisa, so nice to see you. And I'm hoping that once I go live more and more and more, I'll have more of you show up live, and you can communicate with me and ask me all sorts of questions, and we can have fun figuring this parenting thing out, so we can go from chaos and exhaustion to peace and harmony with our kids. Have a great day.